I'm here in Dhaka, and Dhaka is geared up for the elections.
They're coming together, the first-time voters, they're overly excited.
Well, Bangladesh is voting in its first election since the 2024 uprising that led to the collapse of Sheikh Hasina's government after nearly a decade and a half in power and ushered in an interim administration led by Muhammad Yunus. With Awami League barred from contesting the polls, there are two major political forces that are vying for victory in these elections. First is BNP led by former Prime Minister Khalida Zia's son Tariq Rahman. Second is coalition of Islamist parties led by Jamaat-e-Islami. Now, opinion polls vary widely, though most give BNP the lead, with some even suggesting a knife-edge race. Over 127 million voters are casting ballots to elect 300 lawmakers directly, with a further 50 women chosen from party list. A total of 2,034 candidates are contesting the election. Voting is being conducted across 43,000 polling centers, housing approximately 100,000 polling booths. The voters will also decide in a referendum whether to endorse proposals for prime ministerial term limits, a new upper house of parliament, stronger presidential powers, and even greater judicial independence. Bangladesh interim chief advisor Muhammad Yunus has cast his ballot at the Gulshan Model School and College polling station in Dhaka. In fact, after he cast his vote, he said that polls mark the end of nightmare and a fresh start for the nation. Earlier, BNP's Tariq Rahman and Jamaat's Shafiq Rahman also cast their votes. While Tariq Rahman urged all to vote to prevent conspiracies, Shafiq Rahman called the polls a turning point.
It is a turning point, and we are waiting for that point, inshallah. We people demand change, they desire change, we also desire the change, inshallah.
And tracking closely all the updates are WION's Assistant Editor for Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sibal. He's joining us live from New Delhi. We are also being joined by journalist Mohammad Zahidur Rabi. He's joining us from Dhaka. Let's first go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, given Bangladesh's strategic position in South Asia, first up, if you can explain to us about the geopolitical aspect of Bangladesh elections.
Well, this election is being closely watched across the region, whether it's India or other countries. Several foreign observers are present on the ground as well. And we have seen since morning several long queues at the polling booth. In fact, I'm standing at one of the polling booths where people are coming and people are just talking about right now about their experiences when it comes to the polling that is taking place and their voting that is taking place. Now, we know that this election has been something that has been closely watched for the people of Bangladesh as well. It is seen as pivotal in terms of giving direction to the country. The first election since the fall of the Hasina government. While Awami League is not in the elections, the two key polls in the elections are BNP and the Jamaat. We'll get to know perhaps in next 5 to 6 hours the initial view about who is making the major inroads. As of now, it looks like it's the BNP led by Tariq Rahman. But never say never in elections. And when it comes to the dance of democracy, that in many ways is happening here for the people of Bangladesh, because on the ground people are actually really happy that elections are happening and they are able to vote for the next Prime Minister of this country.
Yes, stay with us, Siddhant, and also for the benefit of our viewers, Siddhant is live from Dhaka. Let's also go across to Mohammad Zahidur. He's joining us from Dhaka as well. Mohammed, there are reports that there was apparently a scuffle which led to loss of life of a BNP leader. This was during a scuffle at Khulna polling center. If you can talk to us more about reports now surfacing that there are cases of violence that are being reported from across Bangladesh.
Yeah, so some outlets are reporting scuffles, minor scuffles, and the BNP clash that we were talking about in Khulna, one outlet reported that he died out of heart attack, but it's not that outlet reported, so it's not individually verified by WION. And what we can say is that now, as it's over 1:30 p.m., the polling centers have had gained fractions of the voters, and now that fraction has slowly nilled down. Most of the people, they have already completed the votes here in Dhaka, and the ones those haven't voted yet are still coming in. And I'm here at a polling center of Dhaka 13, and so far the environment here is calm, and there is no signs of violent clashes or scuffles.
Stay with us, Mohammed. Let's go across to Siddhant again. Siddhant, talking about the pre-poll surveys, they also suggest that this could be a neck and neck between the BNP and the Jamaat-e-Islami. Talk to us about how this is going to be a very toughly contested election. One, the tough contest between the two parties, and also how the youth would play an essential and important role in this election.
Well, yes, this election is seen pivotal, but let's speak to one of the voters who has just voted. You just voted here in the elections. How is your view, and who do you think is going to be potentially the next Prime Minister of Bangladesh?
I am very happy. আমি ভোট দিতে পেরে এবং আমাদের নেক্সট প্রধানমন্ত্রী আমাদের তারেক রহমান স্যার
So if you can speak in English, and if you can perhaps talk about your views.
No, Bangla.
Okay.
Bangla.
Okay, so basically he talked about he thinks that it's Tariq Rahman who will be the Prime Minister. But as I said earlier, that it is in a few hours we'll get to know exactly who will be the next Prime Minister of the country. And we know that one thing that has stood out in this election is that the election has been free of violence, and that is a big thing for Bangladesh. There have been few reports of scuffles, of course, happening, especially in Mirpur, but that is the smiling face tells a lot about this story. A story, of course, that is a story here in Bangladesh and rest of the region. And given the fact that several observers are present already on the ground, the big focus, of course, will also be on the government formation. When the government will be formed, people are making their own judgments. The government will be there by tomorrow, or it could take few days. But that V sign basically shows the victory sign here on the ground for the average voter, who is very happy to vote and to see him or herself taking part in elections. I'm here at an area which is Hindu dominated, and for minorities this is a big election as well. Many of them, of course, are keen that the next leadership should be able to protect them.
All right, Siddhant and Mohammed, thank you for the moment. We will keep coming back to you through the day to get us more updates. For now, Siddhant and Mohammed getting us all those live updates from Bangladesh, where elections are underway.